guys, welcome back to Jetski's garage. Technically not in my garage at the moment, we're in someone else's, and we're going to be showing you how to reseal a intake manifold on the Cleveland. At Graham's Restorations, local Adelaide guy. Graham also runs a YouTube channel, xacoupeguy, does a lot of really good panel work, gets a lot of coupes, old Falcons and stuff like that as well. This is his daily driver, XP. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this would already know all about his stuff, but anyway, he rebuilt this 302 and yeah, did a pretty good job of it with it. Runs really nicely, but only issue he has is the intake manifold's leaking. So I'm going to go through that and just show you guys basically how to do a nice clean job hopefully and not have any leaks afterwards. So manifold's off, having a bit of a look at it. Looks like it probably wasn't quite sealing as well. So the gasket is a little bit wet here, and it probably was sitting a little bit low and a bit loose there. So I did mention that to Graham. So what I tend to do is obviously clean all the manifold up, chuck some rags into the valley, and then you can clean up the faces on the heads quite well. Pretty happy with this because he hasn't used any silicone or anything like that. The heads are actually really quite clean. A little bit of gasket left on at the front and rear there. So really happy. It's going to eliminate and reduce the amount of crap that could possibly go into the engine or into the ports. So I'm going to get a blade, scrape the gasket off, and then just get some brake clean and brake clean the rest of those up. You can also see it is a little bit wet around this area here. So probably that gasket was leaking into the intake, only lightly though. He hasn't done a heap of Ks on this, but yeah, definitely gasket wasn't sealing as good as it could. But you can see at the back there, a bit of oil. We've got some oil in around the distributor there as well, so definitely manifold leak. So of recent, I've seen a few more photos and stuff of the Felpro gaskets, and when they're on the heads or on the manifold, they're almost like melting, sort of smushing in how they're mounted on here. So just because of that, I never used to put silicone on my manifold gaskets, but only because of that, I just put the very lightest film only around the ports, even on the Felpro gaskets. But these ones, like I said before, aren't Felpro ones. These are just standard gasket material, which is fine for what they are. It's these ones here, which looks like the same as what Graham's used anyway on this rebuild kit. So, all right, gonna do some cleaning now and get it ready, because remember, the 6 Ps, prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. It's what my leading hands and supervisor used to say to me back when I was an apprentice, and always gone by that. So gotta make sure it's all really nice and clean, give it a good buff, and yeah, get it ready for assembly. everything is all cleaned up, prepped up, ready to go. All nice and clean surfaces. Make sure all the old silicon's cleaned off that face there. So what I use is this RTV silicone. It's an aerosol can. Pull the trigger and it slowly comes out. Works well, nice compact, better than a big corking gun. Yeah, really happy, haven't had any issues with it. Wolfchester is another brand. Most of the stuff all works the same, really. But Wolfchester was from the Loctite scientists or whoever they were, but basically people that were part of Loctite and went out on their own and started off Wolfchester. And yeah, not bad stuff at all. So I'm going to do my beads across the back here. Do my beads across the back here, and a bead along the front there where the gasket would normally go, and it will end up being there and there on the manifold. And then I'll lightly do a small smear on the manifold, only around the ports. I don't worry about here, I'll just do around the port. It's a nice small film to get that sorted as well. So what I end up doing is, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is I'll do one bead first, while I then go around the ports and do a little bit on the ports as well. That is, I smeared with my finger. When you first put it on, it doesn't look like there's enough, but once you actually wipe it around, it's a very, very light film. That's all you need, really. It's going to be sufficient enough. So I'll do 2 beads like that. And that's just so you're not trying to put too much on one bead and then it'll spew inside your valley and that. So that should do just nicely. So I've done that on both sides for the heads, and then also on the manifold I've just done the light smear as well around each port. I'm going to get the gaskets, set them on the cylinder heads. Got Graham getting an engine crane ready for us, and we're going to use, where's the jiggy boom bobby? Sorry, save our backs, considering this is a cast iron manifold, not an alley one. Not real keen on trying to patiently line up the bolt holes and that and trying to get this on nicely. So get a bit more control out of the crane. You could use a carby mount bracket as well, and that'll help a lot too for a cast iron manifold. But yes, so right, gonna get these gaskets out and get it happening. And what is it about these? Get rid of them. These smaller bolts here do go directly up and down, so they're good ones to actually line up the manifold, whereas the other ones are 3/8 bolts. They're on more of an angle and you won't really get them in until the manifold's sitting in place. So if you want to line up some guide bolts, use the smaller ones. So by going that way, we're able to prevent, once you drop the manifold down, the gaskets do tend to push down as well, so the manifold grips them down a little bit, which I'll be honest, to Graham's dismay, probably did happen a little bit, and that's why I wasn't sealing quite well at the bottom. There wasn't enough mounting space for the gasket on the manifold. So yeah, just those little tips and tricks make life a lot easier. If you don't have an engine crane, you're going to put a cast manifold back on, grab a mate, and you can get longer bolts. They're 5/16 thread, these little ones in the middle here. Like I say, they're straight up and down. You can even grab bolts, cut the heads off them and have them standing out, so they're just studs coming out of the cylinder heads, and you can slide the manifold straight down onto the studs, and that's going to make life a lot easier too, using them as guide bolts. we're going to do is work in, they call it a star pattern, when you're trying to torque up a surface area that covers multiple bolts. And basically you want to work from the center and work your way outwards, but cover it diagonally as you go across. So I'm going to start with the four 5/16 bolts. So the ones in the middle of the manifold that are used as guide bolts. These ones here, they go to 25 foot-pound. I'll set my torque wrench 25 foot-pound. Do them up first. I will be coming back to them because the 3/8 bolts obviously do to a higher torque than what they do, but I just want to get that center section down first, and it'll help better with the clamping force. And even though I torqued them, as I went back over the ones that I torqued after the second two, I was able to get nearly quarter of a turn again. So it is important to continually go back and forward and make sure that you're continually torquing them down. So now we're going to go to 35 foot-pound, 33 foot-pound, all the 3/8 ones. Now I'll go back to some little ones that I've already torqued. And as I start to pull on that, that's at 28 foot-pound. You can see I can get some more movement out of it. So that'll be a mixture of things of the silicone settling as well, even though there's not much, but that's another reason why not to use too much. So you can actually get the right torque on those bolts. Now to go back to the smaller ones, remembering go back to 25 foot-pound. See, they were able to do up tighter again. All buttoned back up. Obviously, when you're assembling it back together, do it in reverse of how you pulled it apart. So everything's back together, spark plugs, vacuum hoses, crankcase breather, all the joyful stuff. So Graham's been nice enough to let me take it for a test drive. So I'm gonna go give this old bird a bit of a spin. Like brand new.
It's probably cold a little bit.
This truck works, doesn't it?
I wouldn't pull it on.
Okay.
Just drive it.
The old 2 foot. on the wheel of one of these, but feels good. Feels good. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Graham, for the opportunity to have a play with your beast. It's a nice ride. Thanks very much again, guys, for watching. Hopefully this helps a lot of people out. Just something simple. It's quite a common thing for the valley to be leaking, where people use the core gaskets or the rubber gaskets. So yeah, hopefully it helps everyone out. Thanks very much again for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.